Hello, welcome to Wool Monkey. So today we're going to have a look at what's known as a slip stitch and what to do if your pattern tells you to slip a stitch or to pass the slip stitch over. It's really not as complicated as it sounds. So let's start by having a look at what to do if you need to slip a stitch on the knit side of your work. So here we are. There's a little bit of knitting. Let's just knit the first couple of stitches and then we'll slip the next stitch. Now all this means is that if you're on the knit side and you're going to slip one stitch knitwise, that's sometimes written in a pattern as SL1K, you're just going to stick your right hand needle through the next stitch on your left hand needle and you're going to slip it from one needle to the next. That's it. That's all you have to do, and then you can carry on knitting the next stitch. Now be careful that you don't pull your yarn too tight when you knit your next stitch, because you will have an extra loop around the back. Okay, let's just do another one. So let's knit another stitch and then slip a stitch. All we're going to do is insert your needle into the next stitch as if to knit it, and then you're going to slip it straight onto your right hand needle. Okay, so let's knit the next stitch and then see what we do if you then have to pass the slip stitch over. So if you have to pass the slip stitch over, you have to slip a stitch and then you're going to knit a stitch and then you're going to pick up the slip stitch and you're going to pass it over the next stitch. So with your left needle, you're going to stick the point into the stitch that you slipped, you're going to lift it up and you're going to pull it over the stitch that you knitted over the end of your needle, and then you can let it drop off. Okay, let's just have a look at that again. So let's just knit one stitch and then we can slip one stitch. So right needle in, slip it from the left needle to the right needle, and then we're going to have to knit another stitch. Remember, not too tight around the back. And then we're going to pass the slip stitch over, so we're going to lift the slipped stitch up with your left hand needle and you're going to pass it over the knitted stitch, over the end of the needle, and let it drop off. And that's all there is to it. And let's have a look at the purl side. Okay, so I've turned the work over and we're purling this next row. So normal purl stitch, there we go. And now if you need to slip a stitch purlwise, so that's sometimes written as SL1P, then you're going to stick your needle in to the next stitch purlwise as if you're going to purl it, and again slide it off the left hand needle and slip it onto the right hand needle, and then you can carry on purling your next stitch as normal. Remember not to pull this yarn too tight. Okay, we'll do another one of those. So let's slip the next stitch purlwise. So stick your right hand needle in as if to purl, but slip it from the left needle straight onto the right hand needle. Okay, and then we'll purl the next stitch just like normal, not too tight though. And then if you have to slip or pass the slip stitch over purlwise, so we're going to pick up the slip stitch again, just like knitwise, and you're going to lift it over the stitch that you just purled and let it drop off your needle exactly the same way, and then you can carry on purling to the end of your row. So we've turned this over now and you can see we now have a lot less stitches than what we had before. When you pass the slip stitch over, you're essentially decreasing and losing a stitch, and you can see if you look carefully, these are the places where we've passed the slip stitch over. There's one there, there's one there, there's one there. And sometimes these are used in lace work or just to decrease or to create decorative pattern work in your knitting. But that's all there is to it. The slip stitch and pass the slip stitch over. Hope that makes sense. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.